All right, let's get right into it. Why does it feel like every piece of AI in your life is trying to be your best friend? From your phone to your smart speaker, it is not in your head. And today, we're going to break down exactly why.
You ever find yourself just talking to Siri? Not to ask for directions, but just to chat? Or maybe you've been dealing with a customer service bot and thought, wow, this thing actually gets it. If you've ever felt like these gadgets have a real personality, you're not wrong. You're picking up on something that is 100% intentional. Yeah, this isn't some happy accident of technology. It's a very specific design strategy. It's a science, actually, and tech companies are spending a ton of money to get it just right. And this whole phenomenon, it has a name.
Okay, so the big word for this is anthropomorphism. That's the official term for when we give human traits, feelings, thoughts, a personality, to things that aren't human. It's a classic idea in psychology, but now it's a fundamental part of building artificial intelligence.
To make this crystal clear, the paper we're digging into gives a perfect, kind of funny example. An old TV ad for insect spray, where the cloud of spray literally forms a fist and punches the bugs. Bam. Simple, right? You're giving the product a human action to show it's tough. That's the core idea.
But here's the thing. That same trick has jumped from a cheesy TV commercial straight into the operating system of our daily lives. It's become the secret sauce that makes all the AI we use feel more natural, more engaging, and maybe most importantly, more trustworthy. So how do we know all this? And what's really going on under the hood? Well, a major new paper decided to find out by launching a massive investigation, pulling together basically everything we've ever learned about making AI seem human.
And when I say massive, I mean it. The researchers didn't just glance at a few studies. They systematically tore apart 302 different research papers on this very topic.
And they didn't just look at what's hot right now. They looked back across a huge 23-year period, all the way from the year 2000 to 2023, to see how this whole field has evolved. So you'd think, okay, 23 years, this must be a pretty mature, slow-moving field of study, right? Well, no. The data revealed something pretty shocking. The real action, the explosion of interest, it's all happening right now.
Just look at this chart. It is staggering. That's not a gradual increase. It's a rocket ship. Over 80% of all the research ever done on this subject was published in just the last few years. This is not a history lesson. This is a breaking story. So after sifting through all 302 of those papers, what did they actually find? Well, they were able to create a map of the entire field. And it turns out the science of making AI human-like is grouped into 6 distinct worlds of research. And here they are. It starts with the basics, like how we interact with AI and what makes us accept it. Then it gets into specific jobs, like task-focused bots and customer service versus relationship-focused AIs as social companions. And finally, it zooms out to look at broad, real-world applications and, of course, how it's all used for marketing. Let's dig into a couple of these. Okay, so 2 of the biggest worlds here are customer service bots and social companions. The difference is their entire reason for being. A customer service bot has a mission: solve your problem. It acts human, get the job done efficiently. But a social companion, like your Alexa, its job is the relationship itself. It's built for open-ended conversation, specifically to get you to form a bond. And that bond, it's incredibly powerful. The research is clear. Users absolutely start to see these devices as a friend or a personal assistant. And for the companies making them, this is gold. It leads to way higher satisfaction and loyalty. And it's all triggered by these tiny little details, like just giving the AI a name or a unique way of speaking. But, and this is a really big but, making an AI too human can blow up in your face. This is fascinating. When a superhuman-like chatbot messes up, we get way angrier at it than we would a clunky, obviously robotic one. Just like this study title says, we blame the bot, because on some level, we feel like it's a person who let us down. This tech is also being pushed into really sensitive areas. We're now seeing AIs used as tutors, even as graders in schools. But this is where the research raises some serious red flags.
Some studies found that users actually prefer AI avatars that share their ethnicity. And there's an even more troubling trend. A lot of AI is designed to appear white by default, which brings up huge concerns about bias being hardwired right into the code.
Okay, so after mapping out these 6 different worlds, the researchers pulled it all together. They created a kind of unified theory, a big picture model of how this all works and where this is all going.
You can basically think of it as a recipe for creating a human-like AI. Step 1, you start with the user's traits. That's you, your personality, how much you trust technology, how tech-savvy you are. Step 2, you mix in the AI's traits, what it looks like, its voice, its gender, how it behaves. And what's the final dish? The outcome, how satisfied you are, whether you trust it, and if you're going to use it again.
So the biggest takeaway here is that it's not just about the AI. It's a dynamic, two-way street. It's a delicate dance between the human user and the technology. Getting that balance right is the absolute holy grail for these designers.
And this is not the end of the story. This massive review did more than just tell us what we know. It pointed a big, bright spotlight on the most urgent questions we need to answer as this technology gets deeper and deeper into our lives. For instance, how does our culture change how we connect with an AI? Will a person in Japan treat a chatbot differently than a person in Brazil? Right now, we honestly don't know much about that, and it's a huge blind spot if you're trying to build global tech. And then you have the really tough ethical questions. As we start leaning on AI companions for actual emotional support, what are the rules? Who's responsible if the AI gives bad advice or if that bond is exploited? These are enormous legal and moral minefields we're just starting to navigate. But maybe the most profound question this whole thing leaves us with is this. We've spent all this time talking about how we're making AI more like us. But as these machines get better and better at faking humanity, the real question becomes, what does that change about us?